The Biden-Harris administration's big bet on Intel to lead a U.S. chip-making revolution is in trouble as a result of the company's mounting financial struggles. We discuss with Bloomberg Technology co-host Ed Ludlow, also, I would say, an expert on Intel. You've interviewed Pat Gelsinger on a number of occasions, the CEO. Is he in trouble, Ed? I mean, are they going to be able to carry out Gelsinger's plans and get their hands on this money from the government?
Well, there's a line in the Bloomberg report from last week about Intel's direction to bankers looking at strategic options that Pat Gelsinger's running out of time. But there's frustrations on both sides, right? There's frustrations from Intel, according to our sources, that the CHIPS Act money they secured, $8.5 billion in grants and about $11 billion in loans, is not forthcoming. Intel wants it sooner. They want access to it, but it comes with strings attached, which basically is proof of work on their manufacturing footprint expansion and vetting. And that's the frustration on the administration or the Commerce Department's side. They made rules about that access to capital. Intel really needs it, but it's also, per our reporting, pulling back on its ambitions because financially it's under duress. And we seem to be at a pretty tricky spot right now.
And of course, Libby Cantrell from PIMCO was telling us earlier about how unfortunate this is for the Biden administration, just when it comes to timing here. But there's been a bevy of bad news when it comes to Intel. This is from Reuters reporting that Broadcom's tests involving sending silicon wafers through Intel's most advanced manufacturing processes failed, Ed. I mean, how big of a setback is that?
So what Intel would tell you is that they are actively engaged with, say, a dozen customers who would, on paper, take advantage of their manufacturing or foundry business. The cutting-edge process they have currently is called 18A. The Reuters report says that Broadcom ran a test. They ran silicon wafer through the 18A process, and it failed. And the conclusion, per the Reuters report that Broadcom reached, is that that Intel process is not viable for volume production. The response from an Intel spokesperson in that report was they're still on track for their original timeline. But to join all the stories together, Intel needs the CHIPS Act money to ramp up its foundry operations. It also needs third-party customers who are genuinely and tangibly revenue generating for them to use that to stem its financial losses. At the same time, they're having trouble proving that that process is going well, and per the reporting of Bloomberg last week, they're having to make tough decisions to scale back, be that strategic decisions like separating out the foundry business, or more likely, cutting back on existing projects. So how can you go in good faith to the US government and say, we want the CHIPS Act money sooner, but also be sort of looking at your own balance sheet and planning and saying we're going to have to pull back on our manufacturing expansion because of the realities of our finances?